I still remember the first time she said it. Madison looked me straight in the eye across the couch and said, "Sometimes I feel like I retired too early relationship-wise." That was a punch I didn't see coming. My name's Kyle. I'm 33. I work as a logistics coordinator in Kansas City. I've lived with my girlfriend, Madison. She's 29 and an event planner, for about 8 months. We'd been together 2 years at that point, and I thought things were good. Solid. We had a routine, a life, and yeah, it was kind of settled, but I figured that's what love looks like when it's working. Quick note. Before we start, how's your day going and where are you joining from? But the comments started rolling in. First just one-offs, then more regular. I miss just getting in my car and going wherever. Our Friday movie nights are turning my brain to oatmeal. I feel like I'm playing house too young. It wasn't what she said, it was how she said it. Like I was the jail warden and the living room was her cell. So I tried to shake things up. I booked a weekend trip to St. Louis. We went bowling on a Tuesday. I even found this pop-up outdoor music thing in the West Bottoms. Surprised her with it. She smiled, said it was sweet. But later that night she muttered, "This still isn't the real kind of fun." I didn't even know what the hell that meant. Was she looking for parties again? Or just trying to pick a fight? She'd scroll through Instagram, showing me pictures of her single friends out drinking in Nashville or Vegas, and say stuff like, "That used to be me," always with that weird nostalgic tone. Like our life together was just a dull sequel to her glory days. I'd ask, "You want to hang out with them sometime?" She'd say, "Nah, it's not that. I just forget who I was sometimes." I told myself she was just feeling restless. That work had her stressed. That maybe we needed more excitement. But it wasn't just restlessness. It was something deeper, something colder. And it was crawling into every little crack of our everyday life, turning stuff like picking a movie or folding laundry into some symbol of everything she thought she'd lost. She stopped reaching for my hand while we watched TV. She stopped laughing at my dumb impressions. She started leaving earlier for work, coming home later. And I kept telling myself not to overthink it, until I realized I was the only one still trying. It wasn't just a few comments anymore. Madison had shifted into full-on annoyance mode. She'd grown while writing out the grocery list, like picking between almond milk and regular was some kind of prison sentence. Folding laundry turned into a fight. Every time. "Why do you ball up my socks like I'm 5?" she snapped one night. I said, "Because they're socks, not china." She rolled her eyes and said, "God, you're so safe." I said, "You say that like it's an insult." She didn't answer. Then came the nights she'd stay out late, work happy hours that turned into all-night bar crawls. I didn't question it at first. She's an event planner. Networking comes with the job. But when she started coming home buzzed, heels in her hand, makeup smudged, laughing at jokes I wasn't part of, I stopped giving the benefit of the doubt. One Friday, she stumbled in at 2 a.m. talking about some rooftop club downtown. "It was wild," she said, kicking her heels into the corner. "This guy bought me this lavender drink thing. I don't even know what was in it, but it was good. And he was hilarious. He said I had the most expressive eyes." I just looked at her. She grinned at me like we were swapping funny stories. Not like she just told her boyfriend that a stranger at a club had complimented her eyes all night. She flopped onto the bed and mumbled, "I forgot how fun it is to be seen." That line stuck to me like grease on a shirt. Like I'd stopped seeing her. Or she'd stopped letting me. Her sister, April, came over the next weekend. We were grilling in the backyard, and Madison was already 2 glasses into the sangria. I went inside for 5 minutes, and when I came back, April had this tight look on her face and Madison was pretending not to notice. Later, April pulled me aside in the kitchen. "She's chasing a feeling, Kyle. It doesn't last." "Ask me how I know." I nodded. "I've tried talking to her." April sighed. "She's not listening. She's reacting." I appreciated her honesty, but Madison didn't. I overheard them later. April trying again, saying, "You've got a good man and a good life. Don't blow it chasing some fake freedom." Madison snapped, "Easy for you to say from your apartment with your wine and your cat. You're 35 and alone." That was brutal. April left without saying goodbye. The moment that really cracked something open came a few nights later. Tuesday dinner, nothing special. I made pasta, poured her wine, even lit a damn candle like we were still trying. Halfway through, she put her fork down and said, "I need to talk." I knew that tone. My stomach nodded. She looked me dead in the face and said, "You're the man I'll marry. Just not yet." I blinked. What the hell does that mean? She smiled like she was being reasonable. "It means I love you. I just don't want to lock myself down right now. I need time to feel young, wild, alive, before I settle." I sat there frozen. "So what? You want an open relationship?" She shook her head. "No. I think we need a break." I laughed. Loud, once. "A break." She nodded like it was some clean solution. "Just for a while. So I can figure things out. Clear my head. Then we can come back together and really commit." I pushed my plate away. "So you want to put me on a shelf? Go do whatever? And then come back when you're done figuring things out?" She flinched. "Don't be dramatic. I just need space." I got up, started clearing dishes. Not because I wanted to, but because I needed something to do with my hands. She stood too. "Kyle, please, this isn't about not loving you. It's about loving myself too." I didn't answer. I didn't trust what would come out if I did. She started packing that night. The next morning, she zipped her suitcase, grabbed her keys and said, "I'll be at April's, just for a while." I didn't argue, didn't ask her to stay. I just stood there with my coffee in one hand, leaning on the kitchen counter like my legs weren't working right. She gave me this half hug like I was a cousin she barely liked, then walked out the door without looking back. I sat there for maybe an hour, didn't move, just listened to the clock ticking louder than it ever had in my life. Then my phone buzzed. "Hey, do you want to talk about ground rules for the break?" I stared at the screen. Ground rules. Like this was a recess. Like I was supposed to sit and wait while she went off to feel alive. I wrote back, "Take all the time you need. I'll do the same." And something just clicked. I realized how much of myself I'd pushed aside trying to be this steady, safe version of a guy she might eventually decide was enough. The truth was I'd been rotting inside. So I got online, searched local groups, and signed up for something called Strong Roots. It was a men's peer group downtown, Thursday nights in the basement of a Methodist church near Union Hill. I showed up that week. All folding chairs and bitter coffee. Mostly older guys, divorced, worn out, a few single dads. Not my scene, not my vibe, but I shut up and listened. They went around the circle one by one, talking about jobs, breakups, raising kids solo, screwing up, starting over. When it got to me, I said, "My girlfriend just left to go find herself. I've been living like a placeholder. I'm done with that." A guy named Victor, mid-30s, thick beard, work boots, looked like the kind of guy who fixed everything with a hammer, leaned forward and said, "Your new life started the second she walked out. Don't pause it for her." I nodded, but that line burned into my brain like it was tattooed behind my eyes. On the way home, I drove past a climbing gym in Westport I'd passed 100 times. Madison used to call it a frat boy flex zone, so I'd never even walked in. But that night, I pulled into the lot, just sat there, staring at the entrance. I didn't go in yet, but I knew I was going to. And that was the shift. No crying on the couch. No waiting for a phone call. Just decisions. I wasn't going to freeze my life hoping she'd circle back. I was going to move forward, whether she noticed or not. Next day after work, I walked into the climbing gym in Westport, no hesitation. Signed the waiver, rented gear, and hit the beginner wall with a guy named Dean coaching me through it. I sucked at first, hands sweating, legs shaking, but I felt alive in a way I hadn't in years. Madison always called it a dumb frat sport, said it was all show-offs and tank tops. I let that get in my head for too long. Not anymore. By week 3, I was going every other day, bruised up and sore but addicted to the challenge. Then I saw a flyer at the rec center near the gym, Swing Dance Tuesdays. I stood there staring at it, debating. Madison used to mock dance classes, said it was all fake romance and bored women. I signed up that same day. First class, I was stiff and out of sync. By week 2, I'd figured out the rhythm. By week 4, I actually looked forward to it. There was this woman named Melanie. Mid-30s, sharp jokes, loud laugh. She wasn't trying to impress anyone. None of them were. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was around real people. No filters. No expectations. They didn't care if I had a perfect relationship history. They just wanted to dance. Meanwhile, Madison was busy making her own noise online. I didn't follow her, but friends kept sending me screenshots like I needed to see. Her wrapped around some flashy DJ type Tyler. Shirt unbuttoned, vape in one hand, always looking like he just discovered mirrors. Every photo was screaming fun. Every caption was louder than the last. Living life loud. No rules, no regrets. Wild heart unlocked. But the smiles looked like they hurt. Same pose, same expression, different bar every night. I didn't comment. I didn't text. I just watched her disappear into a version of herself that looked more like a performance than a person. Then one Thursday, after the men's group, I got a text from April. "You doing okay?" I replied, "Yeah, honestly, better than I thought I'd be." She wrote back, "She keeps asking why you seem fine." I stared at that for a second, then put the phone down. She could ask. She could wonder. That was her right. But I wasn't performing anymore. One night, climbing with the guys, I hit a route I'd been stuck on for weeks. Got to the top, hands burning, lungs on fire. I didn't scream, didn't even smile. I just sat there, looking down, knowing I did it without needing anyone to clap for me. Same thing at dance. Nailing a spin, laughing at myself when I messed up, getting better every week. I met people I actually connected with, Travis from trivia nights, Rachel from dance, even Dean from the gym. It wasn't about dating. It wasn't about proving anything. It was about showing up as me for once. And for the first time in 2 years, I wasn't shrinking myself to fit someone else's idea of the right guy. I didn't owe Madison an explanation for my piece. And I wasn't going to slow down to make her feel more comfortable with it. I started posting again. Nothing flashy. No big captions. No look at me moments. Just clips from climbing sessions, dance nights, hikes with the new group, trivia at a bar downtown. No drama. No explanations. Just proof of life. And not the life of a guy crying into his pillow or eating ice cream straight from the tub. This was me living. Actually living. Madison saw it. I knew she did. The texts started trickling in about 2 weeks after my first hiking post. Just saw that spot we loved. Then, remember our diner nights? The kind of texts that are less about the memory and more about planting a flag. I didn't ignore her, but I didn't jump to answer either. I gave it time. Let her sit with the silence before I sent back, "Yeah, good times." She didn't like that tone. You could feel it. Next message came sooner. "That dance clip. Didn't know you could move like that." I replied, "Didn't know I could either." One Tuesday night, I was out eating barbecue with the climbing crew after a long bouldering session. My hands were still chalk dry, ribs dripping with sauce, and my legs were toast. We were laughing about someone face-planting on a route when my phone rang. Madison. I let it buzz twice before answering. "Hey," I said casual. She paused. "You sound different. Like happier." I wiped my fingers on a napkin. "I am." Another pause. "That's good," she said, like it caught in her throat. I didn't fill the silence. I let it hang there. She asked, "So what's new with you?" I leaned back in the chair, looked around at the group still laughing, still covered in sweat and chalk and barbecue sauce. I said, "Just life. Doing the stuff I always wanted to do." She let out a soft laugh, forced. "Sounds fun." "It is," I said. "Feels real." She didn't say much after that. Just a quick, "Okay. Well, talk later maybe." "Sure," I said. "Take care." Then I hung up and went right back to laughing with the guys. From there, her texts got more frequent, trying to work her way in sideways. Old inside jokes. Photos of the dog we almost adopted. Even random questions like, "Do you still get that turkey chili from Trader Joe's?" It was like she wanted to remind me that we used to be something. But the truth was, I didn't need reminders. I hadn't forgotten. I just outgrown it. I didn't shut her down completely. That wasn't the point. I just didn't let her pull me back in. She thought she could dangle nostalgia and I'd come running. But that version of me, the one who waited around hoping she'd want me again, that guy was gone. People noticed. April texted me again. "You're glowing. What changed?" I wrote back, "I did." And it was true. Madison could watch from a distance all she wanted. But I wasn't curating my life to get her attention. I wasn't faking smiles to make her jealous. I was just living. Finally. And every time she reached out, she wasn't pulling me closer. She was watching me drift further out of reach. Madison kept texting here and there, but she wasn't getting much back from me. Just quick replies, no open doors. She never said it outright, but I could tell. Something on her end wasn't working out like she planned. Then April called me. First time in months. She didn't waste time. "She's spiraling," she said. I leaned against the counter. "What happened?" "Tyler," she said. "Your favorite vape model. He's not exactly boyfriend material." I didn't say anything. I didn't need to. Turns out, Tyler was the guy who could talk circles around a bartender but went silent anytime the music stopped. Madison asked him to go to the Nelson Atkins Museum one Saturday, something she used to drag me to twice a year. He said maybe, then ghosted for a full week. She texted him twice. No reply. Then, 3 nights later, he showed up at some rooftop bar like nothing happened, introduced her to 2 girls she didn't know, and acted like she should be impressed. That's when it started to sink in. He wasn't a man, he was a party favor. Shiny, loud, and disposable. Her friends weren't much better. The group she went out with all the time, girls with filtered selfies and captions like shots and secrets, they weren't real friends. Just people who needed someone to tag. April told me Madison went to brunch with them one Sunday and came home in tears. Said all they talked about was the number of guys they'd hooked up with that month and who blacked out on which night. No one asked how she was doing. No one even noticed she barely ate. April found her crying in the bathroom that night. Mascara streaked, phone in her lap, just scrolling through photos of people smiling like they had something real. She said, "I miss someone who gave a damn. Someone like Kyle." April said she didn't respond. Just handed her a makeup wipe and said, "Figure it out." The whole free spirit thing looked good in theory. In practice, it was just loud nights and empty mornings. Madison bounced from bar to bar, party to party, hoping someone would fill the space I used to hold. But all she got was background noise and hangovers. She texted me at 1:37 a.m. one night. I was asleep, didn't see it until morning. "I get it now." That's all it said. No explanation, no follow-up. I didn't reply, not because I was trying to be cold, but because I didn't need to fix her understanding. That part wasn't mine anymore. April texted me later that week. She asked me if you're seeing someone. I wrote back, "Why does it matter?" She said, "Because she thought you'd wait." That was the line. The real truth behind all of it. Madison had convinced herself that I'd be the steady option. Always there, always loyal, always ready whenever she decided the party was over. But she didn't just take a break. She burned the bridge while walking off it. She bet on me standing still. And now she was starting to realize that while she was out there chasing chaos, I'd built something better without her. April told me Madison barely talks about Tyler anymore. Said he started hanging with new people. Whatever that means, probably another group of glittered-up 20-somethings looking to forget what time it is. Madison's back to working late, showing up at family dinners with her smile glued on. April says it's like she's performing normal. But behind all of it, she knows. She gambled everything on freedom. And it cost her the one person who actually gave a damn. And the thing about real life is, it doesn't care how good your selfies look. Catches up. Always. After the silence, her texts started picking up again. First it was simple stuff. An old photo of us at that lake in Arkansas with the caption, "Remember this?" Then, a few days later, "Tell your mom I said happy birthday." Then another one, out of nowhere, "You still hate ketchup?" She was trying to slip back in through memory lane. Like if she tossed enough softballs, I'd swing. I didn't bite. I wasn't rude. I kept it polite, even friendly. But not flirty. Not open. She was fishing, and I didn't feel like getting reeled back in. One Friday morning, she texted, "Hey, wanna grab a coffee this weekend? Just catch up." I replied, "Can't. Climbing trip." She didn't say anything back for 3 days. Then came another message. "Watching our show the other night. Made me think of you. Wanna come over next time?" I read it while standing at the edge of the rec center gym, still catching my breath from a fast Lindy Hop set. My dance partner laughed and handed me a water bottle. I typed, "Out at dance tonight. Maybe another time," which meant never. She got bolder after that. Less small talk, more pointed questions. "You dating anyone?" I stared at the screen for a while, not because I didn't know what to say, but because I knew exactly what this moment was. She'd assumed I'd be stuck, that I'd just be here waiting, holding out. I typed back, "I've been on a few dates." "Yeah." Delivered. Read. No response for an hour. Then, "Oh, didn't expect that." That was the first real emotion I'd seen in her messages since she left. And it said everything. She thought I'd be in limbo. She thought she had time. I didn't respond. Just tossed my phone in my gym bag and went back out on the floor. There was music playing and people moving, and none of them gave a damn about Madison or Tyler or the time I spent holding on too long. Later that night, April texted, "She's not doing great tonight. Did you say something to her?" I wrote, "She asked if I was seeing someone. I said I've been on dates. That's it." April responded, "Well, I think it hit her. Maybe it did. But I wasn't her safety net. Not anymore." Madison kept trying over the next week. More jokes, more photos, more of the "hey you" tone. But I kept it surface level. She wasn't reaching me. She was just now realizing I didn't belong in the version of the world she'd tried to run to. And I sure as hell wasn't dragging myself back to hers. 6 months passed before she finally said the words out loud. "I'd really like to see you. Just talk. Dinner." She picked the place. A quiet bistro tucked into the edge of downtown. The kind of place we used to treat ourselves to on anniversaries or when one of us landed a new client. Soft lights, slow jazz humming from overhead. Wine glasses that never looked clean but always felt expensive. I showed up on time. She was already there. She looked good, hair done, makeup just enough to show effort. But behind all of it, she looked drained, like someone who'd been burning at both ends too long and only just realized there's nothing left to light. We sat. Waiter brought waters. She smiled at me like this was a fresh start. I let her. After some small talk, jobs, weather, a joke about how expensive avocados are now, she finally shifted gears. "I've been thinking a lot lately," she said, folding her napkin with both hands, "about what I want, who I am now." I nodded, said nothing. She launched into her speech. You could tell it had been practiced. I needed time. I really did. I had to go through that phase to see what mattered. And it turns out that mattered. I leaned back, let her talk. "I'm not confused anymore. I got it all out of my system. The parties, the noise. It wasn't real. It wasn't love." She reached across the table, hand open, palm up. I didn't take it. Her smile wobbled, but she kept going. "You were always the one I could count on. The one who knew how to be steady without being boring. No one else got me like you did." I didn't blink. "We can finally build that life now," she said. "For real this time. The way it was always supposed to be. Like she was offering me some grand prize. Like I'd been sitting around holding my breath and this was the moment I'd be allowed to exhale." I looked at her, really looked. The way she leaned in, eyes wide, voice soft but rehearsed. It wasn't about love. It was about comfort. About coming home to a safe place after realizing the world out there didn't care who you used to be. She didn't say "I miss you." She said "I'm ready now." Big difference. I sat forward, rested my elbows on the table, and gave her a calm nod. "Okay," I said. Just that. Nothing more. Let her sit in it. Let her feel that edge creeping in. Her smile faltered, just slightly. She probably thought I was processing. Warming up. That maybe I'd say I've missed you too and fall back into step like nothing ever snapped in half. But I'd already walked too far ahead. And she hadn't realized yet. She was trying to reach for something that wasn't there anymore. She waited for me to say something, still leaning in, palm open on the table like that was supposed to mean something. I looked at her hand, then back at her face. Calm. Direct. I think there's been a misunderstanding, I said. She blinked. What do you mean? I sat up straighter. No anger. No performance. Just truth. I didn't wait, I said. You walked out. And I didn't freeze my life hoping you'd circle back. Her smile thinned, but she kept trying. I know. I just meant we both needed time. I'm here now. I shook my head. No, you're here now. I've been here. Living. She pulled her hand back. Kyle, I've got new friends, I said. New routines. New passions. I started over. And I didn't leave space for someone who put me on a shelf to chase wild and free. Her voice dipped low. I didn't mean it like that. But that's what you did, I said. You needed space, you took it. I respected that. But I didn't pause my life while you figured out if I was exciting enough. Her mouth opened like she had a comeback. But it didn't land. And there's someone new, I added. That landed hard. You're seeing someone? She asked, eyes locked on mine. Yeah, I said. Seriously. She leaned back like the chair had suddenly turned cold. But I chose you. Those words. That tone. Like she expected the world to bend back into place just because she decided it was time. I stared at her a moment before answering. Choosing me after everything else didn't work out isn't the same as valuing me from the start. That cracked something in her face. The edges of her confidence started to fall apart. She looked stunned. Like she just lost a job she didn't bother reapplying for because she assumed it was always hers. I didn't think you'd... She started, then stopped. Didn't think I'd move on? I asked. She nodded slowly. I just figured. After everything we had, maybe we'd get back to it. I picked up my glass of water, took a sip, gave her a second to sit with that. We had something real, I said. But I'm not the guy you left. And you're not the girl I want anymore. She looked down. Her fingers were picking at the edge of her napkin. So that's it. That's closure, I said. It's not revenge. It's not a game. I'm not punishing you. I just don't belong to that version of my life anymore. Silence stretched for a moment. Her shoulders dropped. Then she said quietly, She must be pretty special. I nodded. She is. And she met me where I am now. Not where I used to be. Madison gave a little exhale, more tired than sad. I guess I thought I had more time. That was your bet, I said. You placed it. You lost. She stood up first. Didn't wait for dessert. Didn't say much else. Just grabbed her purse, nodded once, and left. I didn't watch her go. I looked at my phone, paid the check, and finished the last of my water. I wasn't angry. I wasn't smug. Just done. She showed up with old promises. I built a new life. And I wasn't giving that up just because she'd finally run out of distractions. I walked out of that restaurant with my jacket slung over my shoulder and the kind of peace you don't fake. No nerves. No second thoughts. Madison had made her choice months ago. She just thought she could undo it with a nice dress and a speech. She was wrong. I wasn't angry. Just done being someone's fallback plan. The street was quiet. I got in my car, turned on the radio, and drove home with the windows down. That next morning, I met Nicole for coffee. She didn't ask questions. She didn't need to. She just smiled, kissed me on the cheek, and told me she was glad I was here. Nicole never made me feel like the safe guy. She made me feel like the right one. We still go climbing on weekends. Still dance on Tuesdays. I laugh harder with her than I ever did with Madison. Because nothing's forced. Nothing's for show. The guys from the group still text me about meetups, and I show up when I can. I still see Victor. He's the one who told me that line I'll never forget. Your new life started the second she walked out. Don't pause it for her. He was right. Madison gambled that I'd stay stuck. That I'd wait around like some old coat she could grab when it got cold again. She lost. And me? I found something better than her. I found myself. And I'm not looking back.